Section 2 of English Synonyms and Antonyms. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. Read by Dennis Sayers. English Synonyms and Antonyms by James Champlin Fernald. Absolute to accessory. Absolute. Synonyms: arbitrary, arrogant, authoritative, autocratic, coercive, commanding, compulsive, compulsory, controlling, despotic, dictatorial, dogmatic, domineering, exacting, haughty, imperative, imperious, irresponsible, lordly, overbearing, peremptory, positive, supreme, tyrannical, unconditional, unequivocal. In the strict sense, absolute, free from all limitation or control, and supreme, superior to all, cannot properly be said of any being except the divine. Both words are used, however, in a modified sense of human authorities. Absolute, then, signifying free from limitation by other authority, and supreme, exalted over all other, as an absolute monarch, the supreme court. Absolute in this use does not necessarily carry any unfavorable sense, but as absolute power in human hands is always abused, the unfavorable meaning predominates. Autocratic power knows no limits outside the ruler's self; arbitrary power, none outside the ruler's will or judgment, arbitrary carrying the implication of willfulness and capriciousness. Despotic is commonly applied to a masterful or severe use of power, which is expressed more decidedly by tyrannical. Arbitrary may be used in a good sense, as the pronunciation of proper names is arbitrary, but the bad sense is the prevailing one, as an arbitrary proceeding. Irresponsible power is not necessarily bad, but eminently dangerous. An executor or trustee should not be irresponsible; an irresponsible ruler is likely to be tyrannical. A perfect ruler might be irresponsible and not tyrannical. Authoritative is used always in a good sense, implying the right to claim authority. Imperative, peremptory, and positive are used ordinarily in the good sense, as an authoritative definition, an imperative demand, a peremptory command, positive instructions. Imperious signifies assuming and determined to command, rigorously requiring obedience. An imperious demand or requirement may have in it nothing offensive; it is simply one that resolutely insists upon compliance, and will not brook refusal. An arrogant demand is offensive by its tone of superiority; an arbitrary demand by its unreasonableness. An imperious disposition is liable to become arbitrary and arrogant. A person of an independent spirit is inclined to resent an imperious manner in anyone, especially in one whose superiority is not clearly recognized. Commanding is always used in a good sense, as a commanding appearance, a commanding eminence. Compare dogmatic, infinite, perfect. Antonyms: accountable, complacent, compliant, conditional, constitutional, contingent, docile, ductile, gentle, humble, lenient, limited, lowly, meek, mild, responsible, submissive, yielding. Absolve. Synonyms: acquit, clear, discharge, exculpate, exempt, exonerate, forgive, free, liberate, pardon, release, set free. To absolve, in the strict sense, is to set free from any bond. One may be absolved from a promise by a breach of faith on the part of one to whom the promise was made. To absolve from sins is formally to remit their condemnation and penalty, regarded as a bond upon the soul. Almighty God pardoneth and absolveth all those who truly repent and unfeignedly believe his holy gospel. Book of Common Prayer, Declaration of Absolvement. To acquit of sin or crime is to free from the accusation of it, pronouncing one guiltless. The innocent are rightfully acquitted. The guilty may be mercifully absolved. Compare PARDON. Antonyms: accuse, bind, charge, compel, condemn, convict, impeach, inculpate, obligate, oblige. Preposition: one is absolved from, rarely of, a promise, a sin, etc. Absorb. Synonyms: consume, drink in, drink up, engross, exhaust, imbibe, suck up, swallow, swallow up, take in, take up. A fluid that is absorbed is taken up into the mass of the absorbing body, with which it may or may not permanently combine. Wood expands when it absorbs moisture, iron when it absorbs heat, the substance remaining perhaps otherwise substantially unchanged. Quicklime, when it absorbs water, becomes a new substance with different qualities, hydrated or slaked lime. A substance is consumed which is destructively appropriated by some other substance, being, or agency, so that it ceases to exist or to be recognized as existing in its original condition. Fuel is consumed in the fire, food in the body. Consume is also applied to whatever is removed from the market for individual use; as, silk and woolen goods are consumed. A great talker engrosses the conversation. A credulous person swallows the most preposterous statement. A busy student imbibes or drinks in knowledge. He is absorbed in a subject that takes his whole attention. "I only postponed it because I happened to get absorbed in a book." Kane, Grinnell Expedition, chapter 43, page 403, H. 54. Antonyms: cast out, disgorge, disperse, dissipate, distract, eject, emit, exude, give up, put forth, radiate, send out, shoot forth, throw off, vomit. Prepositions: plants absorb moisture from the air; the student is absorbed in thought. Nutriment may be absorbed into the system through the skin. Abstinence. Synonyms: abstemiousness, continence, fasting.